It's time for the Taco Truck Roundup, the show that keeps you in the loop with everything that's worthwhile at AppSumo. Hello everyone, I'm Dave and I review new lifetime deals every day of the week. I'm gonna go through 5 deals that I put through the paces this week so you can decide what is right for your business. Up first is Humata. Humata is an AI-powered document chat and analysis tool. Basically, the way it works is you can upload your files. They could be PDFs or text files or even URLs. Heck, it'll even take YouTube URLs and take the transcript right off of the YouTube video, and then you can chat with it using AI. Now, what makes this tool special over just using ChatGPT is the fact that it acts as an intermediary between your files and the large language model. So essentially, we get an unlimited context window here because it's only going to upload a portion of the document every time it has a question. That way, it's not going to use up the entire context window, and you'll be able to have more in-depth and thorough conversations with AI. When you ask it questions, it can even highlight specific sections of documents so that you know exactly where it's pulling its information from. And you can even add multiple files to the chat so that you can engage with multiple documents all at once. They do this either through just selecting individual files, or you can add files to a folder and then chat with that specific folder. And if you've got multiple people on your team that you want to share this tool with, that'll work as long as you get the right AppSumo plan that includes these team features. But if you have team features, you can actually take those folders I just mentioned and then make them only exclusive to particular members. So you get folder level access for chatting, which is really great because then you can have your own folders for your own documents. But if there's things you're collaborating on, you can make those available to the members and not bother them with other documents, or maybe you want to keep them private. If you're a developer, you're going to love the fact that there is full API access here. So you'll be able to get stuff in and out of Humata and build an application on top of it or add it onto an application you've already created. And if you're just a regular website owner, well, you can embed your chats on websites. You'll be able to just take a little iframe and embed code and put it right on your website so that people can visit your site and actually engage with AI and chat with documents without having to even sign on. Now, in my testing, the reference linking where it highlights the particular section of a document, that did not always work perfectly, but more or less I had some good results. So the only other thing to worry about is that, you get the right plan, because if you don't get the team features, you're not going to be able to share documents down the line. So definitely take a look at the different plans available and get the right one for your business. Heading over to the comment section here, Mulyadi Sabali says, what's the max file size? And I didn't get a specific number from the Humata team, but I do know that as I was testing it, trying to upload very large files, it kind of capped out around 2,000 pages of a PDF. So very large files here. They do mention that there's no limit of the number of files you can add. So if you are doing some heavy research, this very well might be the deal for you. Plaid Mustache mentions that he really likes the live chat embed feature. He says, this embed with live chat function is pretty unique and cool. I totally agree. I thought it was very unique and it worked really smoothly. I was surprised at how easy it was to set up. But by far, the most common question I got on this video is, how is Humata different from fill in the blank? It could be Google's Notebook LM or Ad4e or maybe Paper Guide. I've reviewed a lot of similar tools like this, and I guess the differences are pretty small, but just like we have MailChimp and we have ActiveCampaign and we have ConvertKit, now known as Kit, all of these email tools, they're doing the same thing, right? It's just kind of which one fits with you or which one has the workflow that works best for your brain or your team. I think the things that make Humata really stand out is the team integrations, those shared folders, just how easily you can add some files, add them to a folder, and then share them with a team. It really can be done in almost no time at all. And that's not something I necessarily saw in other tools that I have tested. Overall, I liked Humata quite a bit. There's still some room for improvement here. It could be easier to capture URLs and documents. Right now, there is no web extension. I'd love to even have a Mac app so I could just right-click on a file and easily add it to Humata. That would be really nice. But as it stands, I gave it a 7.7 out of 10. Up next is Adsby. This is an AI-powered tool for generating and optimizing Google ads, including keywords and campaign management. Now, I found this tool to be much easier to use than the native Google Ads interface. It was really simple to get going and create a campaign inside of Adsby. And it's kind of funny because I created an account specifically to use on my video, so I didn't share any private information. And so I had to create a campaign using Google Ads in their initial setup. And it was so much more of a pain just going between the contrast of Google Ads and Adsby. Way easier in Adsby. And I'm not a noob to Google Ads. I've done quite a bit of ads for clients, and it's not a brand new interface to me, but just the direct comparison was obvious. It's so much easier to use Adsby, especially if you're not a PPC professional and you don't aspire to be one. You might as well just take advantage of a tool like Adsby to streamline the PPC creation process. Adsby will also give you daily recommendations after you create your campaign. And by the way, you don't have to create the campaign with Adsby. If you've got existing campaigns that are up and running, it can analyze those and then give you some optimization recommendations. I tend to trust their recommendations a little bit more than the ones you might get from Google, because obviously Google has other motives. Like, of course, they want your ads to be successful, but they also want you to spend your entire budget every single day, and they don't really care if you're getting the conversions that you want. Whereas Adsby is going to be a little bit more of an impartial party. Overall, the interface was clean and simple. I always understood what the features were asking of me and how to implement the ones that I wanted, something that you don't see on a lot of SaaS products. Now, I should mention that this is for Google search ads only, so it won't work with Google video ads if you're looking to do things like YouTube ads, and it also doesn't work with Google display ads if you're looking to get ads on other people's websites. It's particularly when you're doing Google search ads, meaning that people go to google.com, search for keywords, and then your ads are displayed. Vasty Designs is back again this week, saying that Adsby offers a lot of bang for the buck. It deserves a high score. The ease of use for placing ads in Google is amazing. I wonder if they'll add additional platforms in the future. And that's a really great question. I hope they actually add support for other Google ads first. I would love to have that even over things like Bing ads or Facebook ads. But if we could do things like display ads and video ads, which I just mentioned are not included, that would be a huge bonus in my book. So yeah, fingers crossed that the tool continues to grow and get better. So definitely get signed up for this tool so they can get a nice influx of capital and users and get some good feedback on what's most important next for their platform. Lucas wants to know, what does $5,000 ad spend mean? So for some context here, in my full-length review, I was going over the different tiers, and on tier 1, you're allowed to have $5,000 of ad spend per month with that account. So what that means is if you're running Google Ads, your budget cannot exceed $5,000 if you want to optimize those campaigns inside of Adsby. If you want to do more, you just have to move up to tier 2. And I believe once you got to about tier 4, it was unlimited ad spend, which is really generous actually. Usually PPC tools like Adsby will increase their fees with the ad spend. And I don't remember ever seeing a limit on these before, a point where it moved to unlimited before. So that feature itself is kind of new to me using PPC tools, and I've used quite a few of them. Optimizer, I don't think has a limit, and you can spend many thousands of dollars per year. I think 5,000 or 6,000 is not that hard to hit with Optimizer. So that's why I'm so gung-ho about Adsby being such a great value, because I feel like a lot of the most usable features of Optimizer are baked right into Adsby. And so Michael with the spoiler here saying 8.4. Wow, I can't remember you giving that high a rating. Probably missed the higher ones. And that's right, I do give high ratings from time to time, but it's pretty rare, especially for a tool like Adsby, which is more kind of, a niche type of tool that not everyone is managing ad accounts. And actually, that's what I like about Adsby is I think it makes it more easy for the average user to get into the Google Ads platform, where Google has tried for many years to make it dead simple for you to sign up, get your credit redeemed, get your free $500 when you spend $500, that type of thing, and get up and running with ads. But it's very hard to see results if you don't actually know what you're doing. So with the power of AI, I think we're going to get a lot closer to the average person not necessarily needing a PPC agency, which, might make a lot of you hold your breath out there if that's how you make your bread and butter. But it's a pretty great tool. So definitely check it out, especially if you've always held off on PPC. And last question here from Keith Price saying, do you feel Adsby has any features that would make it worth using with Ad Alchemy? And so Ad Alchemy was a tool I reviewed last week, and it did very similar things to Adsby, but it did not connect directly up to your Google Ads account. I even mentioned in that video that I think a lot of power users are going to appreciate that because it means you can fly through Ad Alchemy. There's no delays of loading data over from Google Ads. It's very, very simple to create AI-based, it's still using AI and Ad Alchemy to create your campaigns. But when it comes time to turn them live, well, you've got to export them and then import them via the Google Ads editor, which is a desktop application that I don't know that everybody even knows exists. I don't think the average person is running that on their Mac or PC. So I think that's just a bit of friction that might cause a lot of people to become frustrated with Ad Alchemy. But Michael does later on bring up a good point that if you're a pro user, well, you could use these two tools in combination by utilizing the ad campaign creation in Ad Alchemy, which is probably more powerful, and then you upload them through the editor. But the thing is, Ad Alchemy does not further optimize your ad campaigns. You could do that over in Adsby. So you get your daily recommendations inside of Adsby. And when it's time to build out new campaigns, do that over in Ad Alchemy. That way you get some synergy. That's a pretty complex setup. I don't think it's necessary, but if you're a PPC professional and you're really looking to get the most mileage for your clients, well, that definitely is a workflow that I think would be pretty productive. Overall, I gave Adsby an 8.4 out of 10, as you already heard in the comment spoiler. Next up, it's time to win with win.io, two I's, IIN.io. This is a form builder and submission management platform. So the idea here is that it's kind of like and on AppSumo's website, they called it a client portal. I don't necessarily think it was built with that intention, but you could certainly use it that way. But you essentially create these forms so that you can collect submissions and applications, maybe contest entries. Yeah, it's a pretty cool tool conceptually, but it was a little bit rough around the edges. Let's start with what I liked about it. First of all, we get unlimited forms and submissions. It has built-in payment processing capabilities, so you can connect up your payment processor and get paid when someone sends in a submission, so that's cool. There's public voting capabilities. So if you're trying to run a contest, you can take submissions and then have the public go and vote on those submissions. So a design contest, a hackathon, anything that you wanted to do and get public feedback on, you'd be able to do that quite easily, I might add. It was a pretty decent interface for that. It also has automated email notifications where we can essentially build out drip sequences. It was a pretty decent automation builder. There is CSV importing and exporting, team collaboration features, and you could even showcase some of your entries in a gallery. So if you get some submissions that you don't want to take public voting, but you'd like to show off, like these were the best entries, well, you can create a gallery and then easily share that. So wow, just a ton of features packed in here, but unfortunately, not everything ran super smoothly. Kind of the biggest problem, in my opinion, is that this tool was made by French developers. No problem with that. It's just they didn't do a great job with the translation. So a lot of the language was confusing, not only to me as a user on the back end, but I would anticipate it would also be confusing to users on the front end, not really understanding what to do. Now, they did have the ability to translate a lot of the buttons and things like that, but not all of them. So there's enough left over where it just feels like you're going to have some people confused and unsure of what to do next. On top of that, I think the user interface just felt kind of dated. I think the idea of the application is very strong and could be very successful in the AppSumo marketplace, but it needs to have a fresh coat of paint. Just make sure that the UI and the UX experience is just way better than it currently is. There was some features that stand out to me where you're gonna maybe submit a form, and to do that, you have to press the button once, and then it drops down a little bit of text saying that you're gonna submit the form, and then you gotta click it again to actually get into the form. Just extra clicks, confusion, kind of all over the place. Overall, I gave Win a 5.9 out of 10. Up next is PathPro. This tool allows you to collect user feedback, display public roadmaps, and publish changelogs so that people can see what you've changed inside of your application, membership service, whatever you're trying to update people on. One of the best things PathPro has going for it is honestly its price point. Other competitors can be hundreds of dollars per month, so to get this for a lifetime deal, it's gonna make you want to overlook a lot of features that maybe could use a little bit of polish. This tool does feel very developer-y, and it kind of makes sense because it's meant for developers to talk about their software updates. So just keep that in mind as you're looking at the screenshots of this tool. So we're going to get roadmaps with feature voting. So just like Reddit, you can have people submit features and then vote them up if they think it's a good idea. As I mentioned a moment ago, you can also publish release notes. These are like change logs to say what's actually changed since the last version. You can also call out maybe a feature request inside of that change log, inside of that, what they call a release note, and then highlight maybe a specific user who suggested that feature, giving a little bit of attention to your community. Nice touch. There's also a project and news feature, which slides out a little window from the right-hand sidebar and gives you updates on what's new inside of the tool. So not necessarily a change log, but just like product news, here's what we're excited about. Now, in practice, this is not executed as well as it sounds because it's kind of done in a plain text way. There's no way to add images or videos or really make this more engaging. It ends up looking like an unfinished text document, in my opinion. AppSumo on their website uses Beamer, which is a great implementation of this type of idea. If they made it look more like Beamer, it would be a really, really nice touch. Now, we do get team collaboration features and custom domain support, so I know that's important to a lot of Sumolings, but unfortunately, the pros definitely don't outweigh the cons here, in my opinion. Overall, just the UI needs modernization. Some features just didn't work. One that comes to mind was user banning. I tried to ban a user and just got a series of error messages. So if you've got someone who's kind of abusing the system, there is supposed to be a ban function built in. During the time of my testing, that was not working correctly. Otherwise, I felt like it was just kind of slow. Maybe I clicked the upvote button. It didn't actually react very quickly. That was frustrating. There's also very limited customization options. If you want this to look good, you can inject some CSS, but overall, the skin is the skin, and you're probably not going to be able to recode everything just using some CSS. Venue writes that this tool is quite specialized and may not appeal to the majority of users. I've come to grasp your rating system with this tool as an example. So yeah, what he's talking about there is often I will limit my scoring system based on how many people I actually think the tool is meant for. Yeah, this is my scoring system. I can do what I want. So essentially, this tool was not limited in its scoring just because of that, but it's clearly not for everyone. My thinking here is if I give something in the 8s or in the 9s, those tools are going to be things that are going to have mass appeal. They're going to replace mainstream SaaS products that you probably are already paying for. If it's in the 7s, it could be a lifetime deal that's, a decent version of one of those tools, but you're going to feel that it's a lifetime deal. You're kind of compromising on a few things. If you're in the 5s or 6s, it doesn't mean that the tool is necessarily not worthy of using, but just know that you'll have a little bit of a battle to get it to work the way that you want. I am a tall boy here says, AppSumo literally has a service for everything. Just when I thought I was good, there is something new and shiny. And yes, I agree, there is an abundance of tools on AppSumo, but I want to make sure that we're framing this correctly. So AppSumo is a marketplace, very much like Amazon. I'm a huge fan of AppSumo, but that doesn't mean I'm not critical of some of the tools that are on AppSumo. But that's like complaining about Doritos being stocked at Target. Well, Target just buys the products and then resells it to you. That's exactly how AppSumo is functioning in this manner. AppSumo does create their own products. Those are called AppSumo originals like SendVox, TidyCal, BreezeDoc. Those are all tools actually made by the AppSumo team. But by and large, almost everything you see on AppSumo is created by anybody. Anybody can get their tool listed on AppSumo and available for sale. So just a little context here about how everything works, because I know not everyone out there is an LTD addict like me, but I know a lot of you are as well. So welcome to the tribe. Let's put a ribbon on PathPro. I gave it a 6.6 out of 10. Our final tool of the week is TextLink. This is an SMS marketing platform with a little bit of a twist. So when you think about SMS marketing, you probably think of Twilio. If you've ever done this before, almost everybody uses Twilio under the hood. Even if you're using a mainstream SaaS provider, they typically go through Twilio to send off text messages. Now there's a fee associated with that, of course, because Twilio charges you on usage. If you use a lot, you pay a lot. If you don't use a lot, you don't pay anything at all. So here is the twist. With TextLink, they don't use Twilio at all. They use your own Android phone. And yes, it has to be an Android phone. Basically, your SIM will be connected up to their service via an app. You'll install an app on your phone and then activate it through the TextLink service. And then from then on, you can use your phone as kind of like an SMS server where you'll be able to have as many users as you want connecting up to your TextLink account and then send off SMS marketing messages right through your own phone. It's a really cool idea, especially if you're into self-hosted tools. It's, kind of hacking the system just a little bit. I like that idea. So we really get three different things here. We get API integration, so you can connect this tool up to any other software that can maybe send like an SMS webhook, something like that. That's going to be more for the developer-y, techie people out there. If you just want to use simple bulk messaging, you can do that right inside of their web interface, upload a CSV of all your contacts, and then just send them a message. You can do it very simply right there inside of the UI. The last thing you get is actual two-way communication. So if you wanted to use this as maybe a support desk, you could put that out there as your support phone number, have people text you, and then your agents could log right into the TextLink account and then provide support right through the interface. You do get unlimited team members with your plan, but the number of texts that go out is limited. So make sure you buy an AppSumo plan with the right number of texts. So to me, the real downsides here is just the fact that it's Android only. If you're an iPhone user, well, you'll have to buy an Android phone and dedicate it to this service. Now, in all honesty, that's probably okay. I would like to be able to test it out on my own phone first to make sure we actually like it. But if you're gonna just buy a cheap Android phone, leave it plugged in, put it in the closet, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be a good phone. You could get the cheapest one that has texting capability and you'll probably be fine. The one thing you'll want to be sure is that you keep your device powered up and on so that the actual messages can continue to go out. Because if your device runs out of battery, well, then your marketing messages will definitely not be sent. Now, there are some country-specific limitations here. Like, for example, if you've got a US-based SIM, you'll only be able to text other users in the US. You can add other SIM cards to expand your reach, but that would obviously have an extra cost associated with it. So just keep that in mind as you proceed through this whole setup. If you have a very worldwide audience, it might just be cheaper overall to use something like Twilio. Now, because I do not personally own an Android phone, I was not able to fully test TextLink, so I'm not going to give it a score this time, but I really do commend them for a very creative idea here. I love the concept for a product. So that's going to do it for this episode. Make sure you leave me a comment down below with your favorite deal of the week, or maybe any questions you might have. If you're going to be doing some shopping at AppSumo, please consider clicking on my affiliate link that's in the description. That way I can continue to produce my daily LTD reviews and this weekly roundup. Thank you for watching. My name is Dave, and I'll see you in the next review.